We started our journey in Pune at the last EdTech conference, made the same plea, shared somewhat similar kind of information, and we're very happy to share that over a 5 or 6 month working period, 27 school principals decided to join this movement, decided to contribute to transforming our country. How? Let's talk a little bit about you. If we have to work together, our visions need to coordinate. We start through some of the websites of your schools, and this is what we came up with. You wish to provide an environment in which every student discovers and realizes his full potential. You believe that education is all about preparing and equipping young people for life and not just for school. And you wish to help students develop into progressive thinkers and lifelong bearers of skills that will prepare them for the challenges of a dynamically changing world. Sounds right? Anybody else has a drastically different vision for your school? We'd love to hear. We've interacted with hundreds of school principals, and we sort of said, why don't we sum up what is it that educators actually want? I understand that you're grappling with a huge set of issues with teacher non-availability, with interferences from all sorts of places, all of that. It's like that in every industry. But what do you actually want? You want your students to succeed in life, to discover and realize their full potential, lead productive and fulfilling lives, and face the challenges of this century. You're also parents. As parents, what do you wish for your children? One, that they lead happy, productive, and successful lives, be safe and secure, become good human beings. So we have these two major influencing factors on a child's upbringing, development, growth, future, all wishing fantastic things for children. Yes or no?
Yes.
What is reality today? Is this all happening? Students and your own children, can you put tick marks against each of these and saying, yes, we're on the right path? We need your help to achieve this. And I think there is a lot that we can learn from each other on this journey. Join us in our vision of creating a happier, more productive, and successful country. Small dream, right? The alarming and disturbing facts which our media is not reporting or underreporting, but has a direct impact on all of us and our future. We are addressing you, ladies and gentlemen, simply because you have the power to transform this country, to transform our youth, to transform our future. Nobody else does. That's why we're here. The issues that we have come up with that plague our youth. Number one, this is the World Health Organization global survey, included India. 1 out of 14 suffers from depression. That is the problem. Depression is something that cannot be understood, recognized, diagnosed by the average person. There is an 87% deficit of mental health professionals like psychiatrists and psychologists in our country. So even if my child is depressed, there is no way I can make up. Yes or no? And what does depression lead to ultimately? Suicide. We hear about suicides, love gone bad, marriage not happened, so on and so forth. How many students on a daily basis commit suicide in this country? Wild guess. One and a half. 1 hour every day. And unfortunately, Maharashtra has the dubious distinction of being #1 as far as student suicides are concerned. It's unbelievable for Mentoria to digest this fact, and that is why we exist. We cannot digest that children who haven't got a clue about what life is, who've not seen anything in life, have in this short span of 14, 15, 16 years decided that life is not worth living a second more. Whereas when we looked at the roles of educators and parents and what we wish for our students, poles apart. What's going wrong? Is this how this country is going to progress? We interacted over our journey with at least about 3,000 students to try and get into their minds, get them to talk, and try and understand what plagues them. Because that is what plagues the education system. Their answer? There is just too much pressure on us. There are too many noises, too many sources, too much confusion, extreme amounts of clutter in our minds because everybody and an uncle and aunt are asking, what do you want to be in life? And everybody's telling me what to be in life. Nobody is asking me, what do I want to be? And I'm confused. After our discussions, we realized there are 4 major culprits which are resulting in this extreme stress, pressure, clutter and confusion in the minds of our children. Parents who are operating from a 20-25-year-old perspective when they were given their career decisions. They never made their career decisions. Daddies told them what to do, or serendipity took over. They are now in charge of guiding their children onto which career to choose when they themselves have never made a career choice. Extreme amounts of peer pressure. What are the smartest dudes in class doing? I don't know what I want to do. Maybe I should just hang on to the coattails and follow this guy and enter an engineering tuition class and realize 3 or 4 months later, this is not me. But I can't get out because daddy is going to say, do you know how much it cost me to earn all this money for you? How many sacrifices I've made? Third, and the biggest disease that plagues us. If you get 90%, you have to do science. It is sacrilege for a child to say, I want to do liberal arts, even if I've scored 90%. The system will hammer that child down into saying, no, science is where you have to go. And lastly, something that India has decades to get out of, socio-cultural violence. The worst nightmare for a father, the child comes up and says, you know what, Daddy, I've been realizing I love cooking. End of story. Now with these pressures, what happens? Why aren't students studying? Why aren't academic performances increasing in our schools? Teachers must not be teaching right. Curriculum? No, the core issue is that these guys have so much noise and clutter in their minds that they cannot focus. I was asking our team, which is far more younger than I am, what is the attention span of a teenager today? Any guess?
8 seconds.
Perfect. 8 seconds. And we hold 30, 45-minute classes. 8 seconds. So immense amount of clutter, immense amount of noise, immense amount of confusion results in poor academic scores. So we are educating all these children but not hand-holding them in that most critical step of let me help you understand who you are, who you are meant to be, and let me guide you even after this journey, or at least prepare you after you get out of school to step into the right career path the first time. They make wrong choices about their future. They end up causing immense misery in their workplaces. And they bring that misery back home, which essentially means they're living suboptimal lives at work, creating misery at home. So they're not only miserable, they're causing misery for their families, for their colleagues. We are becoming an underproductive country, harming the entire nation. This is a slide which essentially states where the problem is. So we've got all sorts of education techniques, tools, etc., going on. But the square pegs are being forced into round holes. 2014, 55% of employees surveyed said, we hate our jobs. Most of the corporate sector people who have seen this have said, come on, this is a ridiculous number. It should at least be 75 or 85. So what are we educating our children for? If ultimately they're going to end up living miserable lives. It's not going to get easier. Because neither children nor parents have a mode of getting into the child's mind to discover who the child actually is. What his or her passions, interests, abilities, personality is. A child or a parent can't do that. The career website has listed 12,000 careers. How is anybody, leave alone a parent, going to guide the child when he or she doesn't even understand who the child is and what his or her ideal career path will be out of these 12,000? And as the keynote speaker mentioned, technology is going to create havoc. Automation, technology, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, they're all combining to disrupt industries, to take away jobs while creating new ones. Which parents or educators know which of these 800 million jobs in the future, and therefore there's no point telling my child become a mechanical engineer because automation and robotics is going to take over, and the only place available to him will probably be a steel re-rolling mill in Sangli. So this is what we've been at for the past 2.5, 3 years. Two mandates for us, two objectives for us. Help children discover who they truly are. Help them discover their ideal career paths and handhold them till they get there. How do we do it? We have devised India's most reliable and comprehensive psychometric assessment, which measures for 8, 9, 10 students their core interests, for above 10th their interests, abilities and personality. This psychometric assessment has a tested, proven reliability factor of 0.85, which is far higher than the global norm by the British Psychology Society, which is 0.7. It is designed for this century, it is designed for Indian millennials. This is not a psychometric assessment that's been picked up free of cost from the web and administered. This is not an aptitude test. My humble request, when anyone comes to you and says, we would like to run aptitude tests in your school, please tell them just this. We do not use history textbooks which were prepared in 1950 to teach biology. Aptitude tests have nothing to do with career discovery. Aptitude tests have no relevance for the age group of children that you have. Our psychometric team comprises about 100 man-years of experience in psychometrics. We saw that 3 ladies put up their hands, psychologists, psychiatrists. If I had asked how many psychometricians in all of Pune, there would probably have been 1 hand or a finger. That's how rare this breed is. We've managed to get IIT Delhi PhDs who have been entrusted by our armed forces to create psychometric assessments to design our new modern psychometric assessment. Reliable, we have as our board of advisors 2 of the 2 top-notch colleges in this country for psychology. They are heads of departments, Professor Ghazi and Professor Savarkar of Ferguson College are on our board of advisors to make sure that this foundation, this first step of psychometric assessment is accurate, reliable, and today, fortunately, incomparable. After these students in their own classrooms with electronic tabs take the psychometric assessment, we organize in the school premises counseling sessions. Our career counselors spend about 60 to 90 minutes first with the students separately and then with the parents, helping the child discover who he or she really is, interpret the report so that the child understands what my strengths, weaknesses, development areas are, what my core interests are, who actually am I, what will I love doing. Our analytical engine throws up 10 career paths, and the career counselor helps the child identify the top 3. Our knowledge gateway is a step that we have devised to handhold these children after they have discovered the 3 ideal career paths till they get their first job. The knowledge gateway on those 3 identified careers provides them with child-friendly information on what is this career all about, what happens in this career, what do people do, how much does it pay, how do I get in, which are the courses, colleges that I need to look at to identify what my next step should be. And on a weekly basis, they get updates on this information. Finally, step 4, we understand that industry professions can add a lot of value to students by helping them understand what actually happens in that career. Through webinars, we connect students with industry professions. This is the sum up. This is what we've heard from our partners. The key is the immediate impact. Students, after all the clutter, confusion is out of their minds and they know a path and they are happy about the path, the focus, the concentration, and thereby the impact on academic scores is immediate. Last slide, benefits. We can guarantee enhanced academic performance in your schools if all children undergo the Mentoria Solution. To ensure that you have in-house capacity, to ensure that you are able to retain talent, your top 5 teachers are invited to join our workshops, become certified career counselors so that that capability resides in your school. We will ensure that for generations, all your students, whoever wants to discover a career, learn more about it, through digital tabs installed in your libraries, will have access to it. Not just them, parents, teachers also, because teachers are also parents. And 4th, we will ensure that you become a thought leader by us, along with our counselors, coming to your schools at regular periodic intervals, conducting workshops for students and parents on what is impacting them right now. Pre-exam time, how do I manage stress? Which probably has more advantages for the parents than the children. That's another part. But We can co-create workshops for you that you can invite your students and parents to attend in your school premises so that there is far more holistic development that takes place. We'll end by saying, help us help this country. 27 schools in Pune in a short span of about 5 months agreed that this is a cause worth fighting for. Agreed that the root cause needs to be taken care of than the superficiality of everything. We would love to come across, have far more detailed discussions with you. Our team is right outside. Do let us know.